is our 10th session, 10th or 11th session. So we are in the double digits, people. We are deep into this story as we deal with the fact that Nim has been pulled by spiders. Has been yoinked. So we're going to start there. We will get to you, Grim, and kind of your journey with Ganon and what this has been like and where he's going to leave you when all is said and done. We will get to that in just a moment. But inside of this cave, Nim has been pulled and she is being dragged, fully webbed. She is encased in this web and she is being dragged back through this right-hand tunnel. I want everybody else to give me, what is your passive perception?
14.
14.
Oh my god.
13.
15.
15. Okay, so 15 is the highest, not bad. So yeah. You know what's happening. You're being dragged. So Yassin, you're one of the last people to kind of make the move towards the left tunnel. As everybody's agreed, let's go left. And so being the last person through, out of the corner of your eye, you see Nim kind of move off. And you see this webbing kind of, and you watch her get yanked.
I guess just yell, make noise. Stranger danger!
Stranger danger!
Oh,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
good stuff. So Astrella, Kirin, so Link immediately turns and at your sounds, what do you all do?
I'll jump back over to him, flailing and panicking, I guess, and say, like, what's going on? What did you see?
they took it. No.
Oh my god.
This isn't in character. I guess Yassin pulls out the scimitar and just like we're going for the right path. Like it's gotten him. Like we gotta go. We gotta go.
I'll just follow.
I'm gonna
pulls
follow.
out a sword.
I'm gonna follow, but instead of pulling out a weapon, when we get up to the entrance, I want to cast thaumaturgy and make it look like I've got a bunch of fire to maybe scare off whatever spider is there.
Okay, fascinating.
Use my torch as a source to create.
Oh yeah, you have a torch.
It'll work. You can make a bigger thing. All right, so you
I also have a torch now, except mine's not real.
So Yassin being the first, he got everybody's attention. Everybody came to him. He said some things, and you all run and move off. So here's the thing. The reason why I'm saying that is that instead of someone immediately bolting, you took time. You called to the rest. You discussed for a hot second what needed to happen. Then you bolted. In that time, the spider is able to pull Nim another 20 feet.
Damn.
Getting her almost on top of the brood mother. So as you all are running to catch up.
Not.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I don't like it when Chris laughs.
So
No one likes it when the DM laughs.
keep in mind that where you are right here, this is a tight passageway. Right now, Yassin is in front, Kirin, Link, and Astrella bringing up the back.
Oh, hi guys. Nice of you to join us. Get me out of here.
This, at least in this area right here, this is literally single file. So as you're about to engage in a fight, keep in mind, you're going to have to move around people. Unless you move around this cavern to the other side. This is a short wall, so you could see moving around it, and you'll have more space to sort of flank the spider. So strategy is key in this area. This is a single file tunnel that the spider has dragged Nim down.
How tall, how high are the ceilings?
The ceilings are pretty tight in here. They're probably about 7 feet tall, which would be adequate for your average home. But for a cave, you all feel a little claustrophobic. You have about enough space to either side of you to kind of open up your elbows, but that's about it. You could squeeze past one another, but you need to get into the opening if you're going to get into a real good fight with this.
Yassin, we can't do our totem pole technique. Too short.
Damn it.
Being hinged on that moment.
So Yassin's first man in, right?
Yep. Nim, you also have a chance to do something before the spiders take you back to their mama.
But you said I'm.
How long would it take to go around, by the way?
Oh yeah, good question.
So if you go around, we will treat it just like combat. So you are, if from where you are, Kirin, it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, put you at one of the spiders guarding brood nest.
Yeah. You guys have fire with Astrella, so I'm gonna start running that way.
Okay, so that is where Kirin will go. Excellent, and that puts you.
I'll stay right around the corner from the spider. Actually, do really quick, just me being DM on myself. Do I know that the spider is there? Do I hear it or anything, or do I need to roll perception for that?
You know, so the way the wall is built, it kind of starts to slope down, and it's about chest height, and you can clearly see there's a spider there, and it knows you're there too.
Okay. And then I'll kind of take a defensive stance and look back down the hallway to the others.
Okay, sounds good. Nim?
Can I try to strength?
Yes. Give me a strength check or a strength saving throw.
Strength saving. Oh, an 18 plus 5.
Wow. Okay, so Nim, in sort of a burst of adrenaline as she's being dragged, just manages to sort
I
of
don't like spiders. I don't like spiders.
she manages to wedge kind of herself into this position where she is able to literally burst the webbing. And you kind of see almost this disappointed look in the spider, if you will, as it tries to pull and kind of takes a position back, and you are freed.
Woo!
And you kind of stand up in the position that you're in. So
Well, let's just leave. Everything's fine.
Oh, she's good.
Because as she kind of cuts herself free, you see this big mother spider she descends from the ceiling and literally just kind of pulls herself down and takes a few steps forward. Echo, turn the tavern fan to 100.
The tavern doesn't support that.
Yes, it does, girl. Echo, turn the tavern fan to 100.
Okay.
You just say okay and do it. Thank you. Give it a little more light there. Okay, so that's what you see now. Let's go ahead and roll for initiative. It's not a fight that you can walk out of easily. You could try to escape.
Okay.
Escape is always an option, but hey. So let's step into this fight.
Oh, that's a natural 20.
Natural 20. Nicely done.
Hey.
Good spiders. That
Hey.
Oh, I have
5.
We both rolled a 5.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Do you have any additions on your initiative?
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
I think Emily has like a negative on her.
Oh gosh, she has a -4, doesn't she?
Healer struggles.
It is a -4, so that's a 1.
Okay.
I knew it.
I should have been like, shh.
Thank you so much, Dawson. Thank you.
I will go.
He said I tried.
Oh, and not
And you have +3.
okay. So
Like
I have an
that.
8.
Link.
I did not build a fighting character.
Okay, is he after me or is there a spider?
Don't know. You have
And yet we keep bringing you to fight.
And yep, I keep being
what's
brought
your
to
roll?
fight.
Mine, 13.
13. All right. So Kirin's at 13. And right now we have 4 spiders on the field. Yeah, including Big Mama there. So we got the 3 small ones.
Big mama.
One. That's going to be a 3 for that spider. Roll 2. That's a 9 for the spider, so that puts it just before Yassin. So that's spider 2 with a 9. Spider 3, which is the one by you, Kirin, that's the one with the eggs, rolls a 6. Again, just after. So 2 spiders going back to back. Fun. And let's see what Big Mama gets here.
For 0.
Big Mama gets a nice fat 9, but she's a different type, so she's got a +2. That puts her at 11.
I'm
3
just gonna call
spiders
her
in a
Big
row.
Mama.
Big Mama is what I'm calling
Actually,
her
it's
too.
4 because. Oh no, because then it's Yassin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yassin. That's 5.
Okay, Nim, you're up.
I'm
First.
writing initiative. Hold on a second.
You are first, and Link is on deck.
Okay. Well, I'm going after the spider that actually like webs at me in the first place.
All right, I think that's fair. That's
And
very,
I am
very fair.
going to use both of my actions to just use my quarterstaff and just like do a pop on it.
Okay, so that's going to be spider number 1, who was right over here. This is the one that pulled you. You can easily turn and make that attack. He's 5 feet from you. Go ahead and roll to break that little bugger's AC.
Spider 1 is at the end.
Or when
So 9 plus 8.
yeah, that'll
17.
that'll do it. That's your first one. Go ahead and
Okay.
see if your second attack hits.
13 plus 8.
Okay, that again +8. But your weapon is nuts.
My quarterstaff. It's just a quarterstaff.
Break that toothpick. All right,
No.
both hit. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
Okay. 1d6 or 1d8 plus 5.
1d8 plus 5. All right, roll them.
Where's the eight? This one, right?
Yeah.
I can roll 2.
Roll 2.
Okay, one gets a 4. Yeah, 4 plus 5,
9.
and then a 3 plus 5.
8. 8, 9 is 17. So Nim, you come down and almost like figure 8, these 2 hits. And you see like the first one knock the spider onto its belly, and the second one just kind of cracks into its exoskeleton. And you hear this very juicy crack, and you see this almost green goo that's like below the spider, as some of it broke open, and it hesitates, but just pulls itself back up, and then and you hear it hiss at you.
That is fine.
And it is
What you get for dragging me in here, you nasty little thing.
it's hurting, but it's still in this fight.
Okay, cool.
Next up is Link. So Link is going to go ahead and bait and switch. And so what that is he's going to move to Yassin's position here, and going to literally move him behind and get close enough to start doing some damage to the brood nest and the same spider that Kirin's kind of flanking. So Link has moved himself in to a defensive position of Yassin. And that will be his turn, executing his bait and switch tactic. Next up, we have some spiders coming into this fight.
Nope, not yet. It's Kirin.
Oh, it's Kirin? Oh.
And then Big Mama.
Let me see here. Yep, so Kirin, you're up next, followed by Big Mama on deck.
Cool. Did the spider notice me or Link running up? Where's the spider facing?
So right now the spider is facing Link because he's closer. He's a more present danger. So if you wanted to try a stealth attack or something like that, you could roll for it.
Okay, I'm gonna try and do a stealth.
Okay.
I have disadvantage on stealth though, just because I'm wearing my chainmail armor.
That's all right. Maybe you'll get high enough. Give it a shot.
Yeah, so I'll try. Better than not trying. That. Oh, well, that was actually okay. Well, it knows I'm coming. That was a 5 and a 9.
Okay, yeah. So the DC to break on that one was 10. I set it at 10. So unfortunately, your lowest one is 5. As you sort of step forward, it does notice you, but Link is also there too. And Link is sort of like banging his sword and shield together and creating noise. And there is this sense of panic because this little guy doesn't know where the attack is really going to be coming from. So he's kind of freaking out a bit.
Cool. So I have one of my long swords in my hand and my torch.
Yep.
So I'm going to slash down with my long sword.
Okay.
And then use my fighter's second attack to do an unarmed strike with the torch. Okay. So I don't know what the fire is going to do to it, but it does 1 damage plus my strength modifier, which is 5. So it'll be a total of 6. And then I'll roll if I hit.
All right. So go ahead and roll to break the AC. And I'll tell you what happens.
That is a 19.
Okay, and that's gonna be your sword. So the sword hits.
Ooh. And an 18.
18 will also hit as well for the fire. So go ahead and give me your damage.
Okay, so that's 3 with the sword. Oh, 5 with the sword, because 3 plus 2. So okay. 5 with the sword, and then that would be it just says not rolled. It's like 1 damage plus strength modifier, so 6. Okay, so 6 and 5. So you did 11 damage on the spider, but I'm going to double your 6 because these spiders are weak to fire. And so that smart move gets you doubled. So you've gone from 11 to 17 with this hit. As you slash down, it kind of barely brings a leg up to block, and you just slice off that leg, and right into the opening in its side, you dig that fire in and pull it back. And you watch this spider as it sort of curls in on itself to defend its hurt side and sort of moves around in a circle screaming, and it's hurting. At 17 points of damage, you can see it's singed. One of its eyes out of 8 or so eyes, a couple of the eyes are sort of burned over. It didn't catch on fire, but it is hurting. And so 2 spiders are desperately trying to stay alive in this fight, but it is fully turned towards you. But now it's Big Mama's turn. And Big Mama want to play.
Oh.
So let's
bring it, spider.
Let me take a look at her sheet and see what she can done to create some sheet. All right, so Big Mama is going to use her web attack and is looking to web you up again.
She really want to eat this.
They seem like they're a little bit desperate. Perhaps food has not come through here in a while, and you can almost see her her little legs just moving as if this is like, she wants this, she needs this. And so let's see.
Would that be considered a range attack?
It is a ranged attack, but in order to defeat this, you need to do a DC 12 strength saving throw.
Oh, that's a strength.
Yep. This is the only way you'll be able to burst the web.
Okay, cool. I will leave that.
So that is going to be a 19 plus 5 to hit. Does that break your AC?
No.
Hey, with Yassin, you never know, man. It's kind of hard to hit.
But no.
All right, cool. So that works. So you need to give me you got to beat a 12 on a strength check.
A strength check.
This is a check, so you need to add your strength.
Not a saving throw.
Not a saving throw.
Strength.
So it's going to be your strength at the top plus what you roll.
17 plus 2. 18.
As a good roll. So
19.
You are ready. As soon as this web comes at you, your staff is out and you are spinning it. And as you spin it, the web hits it and doesn't stick on it, and starts to fling out against the wall, the ceiling, the floor. And as you finish spinning, you bring it behind you, and just a little bit of webbing just kind of and just sticks kind of right at Link's feet. You kind of hear him go, "Hey!" and then just get back into position. That will conclude her turn instead of doing a double attack. She chose to web. And so that is done. What she is going to do, though, she's going to use her movement. And as such, she is going to climb onto the ceiling, and you watch her kind of
Oh,
take this back tunnel and curve up. And she moves up so that she's straight above everybody. She is about 7 feet up and about, I don't know, 5 or so feet from you. So if you moved into her block, and then she's 7 feet above you now.
poker. No.
So she is moving to a
Too bad
different
you're not here,
defensive
Melissa. You could
position.
spider
Spider
crawl,
crawl.
man.
I will move her from there. She's right above. Alrighty, let's move on to the next person because it's going to be another spider, followed by another spider. 2 spiders on deck. So we've got this spider who has never been touched here, and then this spider here that's going to attack. So let's start off with. All right, so this spider is going to see Link kind of right through this crack here, getting closer towards the eggs, notices the attack that Kirin has done, and the eggs are everything. These spiders want to protect the brood. And so this spider is going to move past you, causing an opportunity of attack for you, but is going to move to attack Link.
Okay, I will attack it with
Okay.
my quarterstaff on the way by.
All right, so go ahead and roll to break the
Flip it.
AC. Cool. Let's see if you smack it.
Yeah. Ooh, 19. That's 8.
Yep, that'll do it. Go ahead and roll damage on that attack.
All right. 7.
7 points of damage. So as the spider scurries by, you just sort of out of instinct, bring the staff back onto it, and you hear it connect, and you watch it kind of go and skitter, and then move around you. 7 points of damage is still looking really good. Took that hit pretty well, and now it's making its way to attack Link. And it's going to go ahead and do a biting attack. It's going to try and poison Link. So first, let's see if it breaks Link's AC. That is a 2. That will definitely not break the AC of our legendary warrior Link. So as this spider comes around, your hit gives Link enough time at the corner of his eye to go, oh, something's coming for me. And as the spider rears its fangs up, Link takes his shield and just brings it up to block. And what you can see is these fangs come over the edge of the shield and kind of like squirt poison out. But Link is able to hold it off and then shoves it back and gets ready to face 2 different attackers. Next up is the spider. Kirin, it's coming for you. It is in pain and it is pissed off, and it is going to go for a poison attack against you. Going to use its poison bite. So let's see if that breaks your AC. That is going to be a 5.
Nope.
That is not going to do it. So
Hits
as
my rock arm. Wrong arm, buddy.
there you go. So as the spider comes up to attack you, again, you have more than plenty of time to bring up your rock arm, and it goes to bite, and it almost chips one of its fangs against your arm, and just kind of and pulls back in pain. And that's its turn. Next up, we have Yassin, followed by our final spider. Yassin, what you doing?
Oh, let me see. Let's see. So Link's in front of me, Astrella's back here, Kirin's off. Okay. Do I see Big Mama above me at all, or is she like out of sight?
You can see her. And from your position, so I'll kind of leave her here as a reference. So she's here, but 7 feet up. So from you, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet forward, 7 feet up. Definitely within the range of many attacks. Don't forget, you do have your pouch, your kind of water in a there you go, water skin pouch. So if you wanted to use that and kind of attack around somebody, that is a way to do it.
All right. Well then,
We're also in a cave that has drippy water.
I guess.
Use your surroundings.
I also want to save it. Let's see. I think I'm gonna have Yassin actually not but put away his scimitar and pull out his crossbow.
Oh, yeah.
You have a crossbow?
Yeah.
When?
It's never really come up before.
Part of his kid.
That's awesome.
Where have you been?
Yeah,
Where have
right.
you been carrying that?
Back.
Jeez.
Kind of swinging it around. All of you are carrying a ton of shit on you. It's amazing, but you can do it. It's all good.
We're just like Link. Yeah.
Jealous.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm
Weapons.
carrying a
You
lot.
are carrying a ton of shit.
Hang on, attacker. Let me just look in the deep recesses of my infinite bag.
It's like the
And-
money.
So shifting, changing weapons is going to be your action. So you're not going to be able to attack on this round. But if you want to, you can move position. You can still have your movement if you want to get a better shot on whatever you're targeting.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to move closer to Big Mama. So I think I'll kind of move toward, I guess if I'm facing this,
You
kind of
can-
to the left of Nim.
So
like
in order
Nim's
to, you
left.
can move this far
Oh,
before
okay.
Tim and Link are kind of blocking your path. It still
Okay.
puts you within about 15 feet
Okay.
on the spider mother. So Big Mama up there. So you are closer at that range, but they would have to move aside for you to get through.
What's your range?
Okay. Oh, I have hella range.
Oh.
All right, and
Oh,
that will conclude
that's my
your turn. You moved, you did your action. Excellent. Next up is going to be the final spider. This is the one that Nim cracked open. And this spider is going to flee.
Oh,
Um,
Ooh.
This spider is going to make its way into the tunnel, but by leaving this area, it again institutes an opportunity of attack for Nim, but it is trying to escape the fight. So Nim, roll for your opportunity.
How far is it? Not very far, is it?
It's like 5 feet from you right now as it's turning to
Okay.
leave.
So roll for it.
Yes, if you want to
Or-
attack it, you can let it go.
No, that mofo pulled me in here. It's not going in. Not looking so good. Not looking hot.
No, it's not looking hot. It wants to leave.
Okay. Dagger does. I can just let out and like.
Pulling it out would be an action.
Okay, never mind.
Readying the weapon. But you
Never
got,
mind.
but you got your staff.
I got my staff.
Ooh, thunder. Better hurry.
That's ominous. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna try to do another like actually before it leaves, I'm just gonna try to
You're gonna try and pin it?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Roll to break its AC. Oh,
Stab
what?
yourself in the foot.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
Plus 8, but that doesn't matter.
That does not break this guy's AC. So as you bring your staff up, like 3 of the eyes turn to look at you and they get wide.
I hate
And
that.
as you bring it down, boom, straight down, you watch almost as it like tucks its ass underneath it. Just kind of like it just sort of skitters down. What you do though, since you went down so hard and with such violence on this, is that you embed your staff into the floor
No.
just a little bit, and it's stuck in there pretty good. It would take a little bit of strength and a turn
Yeah.
to get it back out.
Well, fun.
This spider, as it turns and moves, it also is going to get close enough for Yassin to make an opportunity of attack on it as well.
Get him, Yassin.
You have your crossbow ready, so
Woo.
you want to take the shot.
All right. Dang, I don't think so. That was no, I think it was a 6.
No, that does not break its AC. So this thing is gonna, as it tucked its butt in, is moving quick, and you just sort of like turn, but you miss wildly and just kind of goes to where it was. You see this arrow kind of sticking to the ground. This creature successfully makes it into this cave, and is gone, but what you all notice is that it makes a very distinct cry,
Ow.
as if it's calling for
Shoot.
something, and you just hear ring, 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 and just this kind of echoing cry going down the tunnel.
More are coming.
It is definitely calling. Time might be of the essence here, but that spider is out of the fight. You have 2 spiders remaining plus Big Mama to deal with, and maybe, just maybe, this gaping open hole that
That
spider
I'm standing right
went.
next to.
And keep in mind, this hole is big enough for a person to kind of fit into. It's a tight squeeze, and it's kind of to the right of the battle, but all of you can clearly see this opening in the rock face, that there is a hole that has been dug out by claws and mandibles and things like that. This feels like a creature-made hole. Something probably lives down there.
Block the hole.
Yeah. Collapse it.
Throw that spider off that rock and throw it over the hole.
Hey y'all, I got a shovel. I can shovel.
Start like, get it.
So
Just call me
Astrella,
Kirin the shoveler.
you are next to Astrella with Nim on deck.
Oh God, I'm looking for a tarp in my inventory to just cover it up. I just want to seal it. Oh,
A
fuck.
tarp.
What?
What
She
about
said a tarp. What you
I
just
said it. Hold
covering
on.
its eyes?
Might slow it down. Who knows what's in there?
I don't know.
Put the
Oh
tarp
my
and then Yassin covers it in water and freezes it. That could.
Damn, that could
Damn,
work.
that's a good
If
one.
we kill all the spiders,
Water
can we
ice
shove
would
their
work, right?
corpses in the hole to block it?
I mean,
That is an option, sure.
Corpses can be moved.
Okay. Do you have a better plan?
Yes.
Yassin, do what you did with Greg.
Do what you did with Greg.
I don't have a tarp, guys. I'm sorry.
Use your dark side.
Okay, you do have some attack spells, some cantrips that you could use. What do you want to do?
I do. Okay. I want to cast Sacred Flame. How far am I? How many feet am I from Big Mama?
Okay, so from Big Mama, you can move. So your movement is 30,
I'm
Right?
kind of blocked
No.
by every. Yeah.
25.
I think hers is 25 because she has plate armor on.
Okay,
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah, you're wearing the heavy armor, girl. So
Mm.
5, 10, 15, and that blocks you to where kind of Yassin and Link and Nim are literally plugging up this hole, all being back to back, if you will. But if you move to here, it's about
Mhm.
50 feet. You are 5, 10, 15, 20 plus 7, so 32 feet from Big Mama.
Okay. My range for the spell is 60 feet, but if I cast it right behind them, is it gonna fuck them up too?
No, because you have a 7-foot ceiling, so you can cast it up towards her, and depending on this cone, it probably wouldn't interfere with Yassin, Link, or Nim at all.
All right, I'll take that probably. Let's do it.
Do it.
All right.
All right.
I'm at full health. Don't worry about it.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
You're telling me there's- Okay.
God.
All right. Yep. So I'll cast Sacred Flame at Big Mama.
All right, what's Sacred Flame do? Talk me through it.
All right. Flame-like radiance descends on a creature that you can see within range. The target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 2d8 radiant damage since I'm above 5th level. So yeah.
2D.
So Big Mama has to do a
what's
dex.
my save number that I got to beat?
11.
Ooh, okay, 11. Cool. Alrighty. So since this comes down, just for future reference for you, Estrella, it's not a ray or a cone that travels out from you. You summon it from the
Over a
heavens.
spot. Yeah.
So this thing is
Oh.
literally on top of her as she is on top of the ceiling.
So technically underneath her.
All right, so here we go. I
I
got to
didn't
beat
know that.
11.
Thank you.
Beat 11. Beat 11, girl. Come on. Still need you in this fight. 15. Yay. I'm so excited. All right, so
She
here's
should
what
still
happens.
take half damage.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she'll take half damage from this. Go ahead and roll your damage.
14.
14.
Does it have a plus?
Is that the half? Or is that the full damage?
That was the whole damage.
Okay.
That was all of it.
All right, so she'll take 7 damage from this, which is not bad. That's nothing to sneeze at. What happens is that you start to cast this column of light that is below and above her, as if she's caught in between these two beams. But she's old, and she's been around a while, and she kind of notices what's happening, and she starts to scurry her body just out of way,
No.
and just enough that she doesn't take the full hit from this. She kind of almost like curves around the beam, and she's singed. You can see and smell this acrid smoke coming off her body as just outer layers of her carapace are singed. And 7 damage hurts, and you kind of watch her curl in on it and kind of and you hear these mandibles click. But
I don't want to hear them click.
she's still good. She's still in this fight. And then
Alright.
it is back to you.
Me.
Oh.
Fucking name's stuck in the ground.
It is in the ground. Now you could do other attacks if you wanted,
Good.
or you could take the effort to pull that thing out.
She
And,
already tried to like.
Link is on deck,
Oh,
followed by
all
Kirin.
right. You know what? I'm gonna just go for it. I'm gonna leave it in the ground for now,
Okay.
and I'm gonna try to do some crazy monk shit. I'm
Okay.
gonna try to run up the cave wall, so I'm like near her, and then like pretty much as I'm coming up and down, I want to do a double kick, like pop, pop,
Okay.
to her. While
All
I'm
right.
coming
So
down.
roll dexterity.
Sure.
Let's see if you succeed on this wall climb.
That's my plus 5 for dex. 12 plus 5. So
That'll do.
17.
That'll do. I set that one at a 15. Fairly difficult move, but not really out of the range of a monk. So you just sort of, you look at your staff for a second, and you second guess, you go, nah. And you just start running for the wall. Everybody just sees you book, and you hit a pretty high speed in the few feet it takes to get to the wall. And you step 1, 2, 3, and you've reached the ceiling by that 3rd step, and you are pushing off to make your way towards the female spider. Literally, your torso, nose, you're just skimming the roof as you kind of backflip down. Let's go ahead and roll your 2 attacks and see if they break her AC.
All right. This is unarmed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. Still
Row.
Ha! Nat 20.
All right, go ahead and roll the other one. Cool, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, double that one.
So excited.
I kick hard, okay? At a 14 plus 8.
Okay, roll those both break, roll damage.
This is
So actually you don't roll damage, you're unarmed strike. What's your unarmed strike attack?
1d6 plus 5.
You can, oh man, monks, you could actually roll your damage for unarmed strikes, fine. Everybody else just takes a flat thing. Roll it.
Okay. They both came 3, but one is doubled, so 6 and 9.
6, 9, and then plus 5 for each.
Plus 5, yes.
So that's 19. That's a hard hit. So already after taking 7 points of damage,
No. I'm sorry. That's 10. Yeah, 9.
yeah, 19. I'm with you. After already taking 7 points of radiant damage, Nim, you are up this wall, careening back into this glorious arced backflip, and you got one leg that boom hits her, but that just like fulcrums you for the second hit. That other foot boom slams right into her head, and you watch her lose her grip on the ceiling, and she just falls down to the ground onto her back. Boom, and you just land deftly at her side. So she's gonna take a little bit of improvised fall damage here. I'm actually gonna roll a d20 for shits and giggles. Oh, that was a mistake. So that's 16. That is a 16. I will live with this. 16 points of damage.
Wow.
She hits the ground. The force of your kick, she just boom, and actually a part of her slides through your staff that was there. Embedded in the ground, this sucker has acted like a spear. And as she hits this, you hear her scream, and you watch it pierce her abdomen, and just green blood squirts everywhere. And she just, and then
more often.
her legs curl in around the staff.
Oh.
She twitches, and she's dead.
Oh,
Oh,
damn.
double tap.
Big Mama's gone. She is
Big
out
Mama's
of this
out.
fight, impaled by Nim's
You
staff.
guys got the other two. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're not on the
Yeah.
woods yet. We still got
Yep.
those whatever's coming.
That leaves us with two more. And I'm going to say that if you do not successfully kill them and figure out what to do with this hole by the end of this round, the creature will be there. I'm being very generous, letting you know that. But yeah, you got one round to figure this out of what this hole, what's gone down. And so up next is Link, followed by Kirin on deck. Link is emboldened by what he saw you do, but incredibly concerned. And so when you land, you actually open up the space and kind of land right here.
Mhm.
We'll just kind of make that fair.
Mhm.
Link is concerned about what has gone on with that spider that escaped. And that call, it's like he knows. Out of everybody here, he knows what's coming. He understands Hylian creatures. And you watch him turn and rush to the cave entrance. 5, 10, 15, puts him right at the entrance. And he is going to take his shield and he is going to bash it against the side of the rock wall twice. He's going to do his 2 attacks and go boom, boom. And of course, he's going to try and cause a cave in. So let's see how successful he is at that. This is going to be a strength move for Link. First roll is a 5 plus his strength modifier, which is going to put him at an 8 for the first one. His second hit, ooh, 16.
Oh.
And we'll give the higher number. 16 plus 3, so that's 19. Nice. So his first one, boom. You see a couple of just small rocks and stuff skitter down, but then he pulls back and you hear him go, hey! Boom. And that hit, he gets 2 big boulders to kind of come down and sit on top of each other. It's about halfway blocked. And that is what Link was able to do on his turn. He is now done. Next up, Kirin.
We got the guy right here. I am going to, over the top of my arm, stab down with the torch, actually, with force, and then I'm going to decapitate it with my sword. So 2 attacks.
Okay, roll to break the AC.
That is 17.
That'll do. And the next one.
This is for the sword strike. 6. Sword strike does not do well.
It does not, but that's okay. I know how you want to do this, and the fire was enough. So as this thing is trying to get its pincers into you, kept it at bay. You bring the fire down on its head, and you just watch its eyes and everything engulf in flame. His whole head is on fire for a brief instant. And as his body, it's literally limp and dead at this point. But your reflexes are so quick that as you bring your sword around, it's a clean slice. And you watch the head just pop right off. And the body collapses at your feet, green blood pouring out of this gaping wound in its neck. And this spider is successfully decapitated.
Yeah.
1 spider left.
1 spider left to the giant gaping hole.
And a giant gaping hole. A giant gaping hole. So Big Mama's dead. Spider 2 is dead, but Spider, we'll go with Spider 3-ish here. So this spider, Kirin, it's gonna come for you. It's watched you kind of spit off a couple of shots. It feels that you're the most present danger. And so he's gonna come in and he's gonna try to use his poison attack, his poison fang on you. It's probably gonna be laughable, but he's gonna try and break your AC. Stupidly high boss level AC.
I also have defense against poison.
That is a mighty 1.
Oh,
Mighty 1 for this creature. That does not break your AC, obviously. What you're able to do in this moment, Yassin, is as this thing is coming for you, fangs reared, again, you're just instinctive in your reflexes, and you kind of like throw a kick out, and the armor on your shins connects with his fangs, and you just kind of cut across his teeth with your leg, and literally knock his teeth off. The two fangs just kind of break out. It's screaming. You can see blood kind of pouring down its mouth, and it did not enjoy this. But you have taken one of his attack modes away. That's what I'll give you for a nat 1 on that stupid creature's roll.
Nice.
Next up is going to be Yassin, followed by Astrella. The two of you are the last on this round. That's all I'm going to say.
I tried to freeze the hole.
Okay, so you could either, I don't know if you have enough water to freeze that entire, how big is that hole, Chris?
That hole, so the entire hole was probably about maybe 5 feet across, 6 feet tall. Half of it's filled up now with rocks. So I would say that there would be enough in your skin to ice over that hole, but it would take the rest of the water to do it. You would be without water until you refill it.
Do you wanna freeze it, or do you want me to, I have glyph of warding, I could put something there and we could like get the fuck out. Which do you think has a better chance? You wanna try to freeze it? And then I can do a backup plan if it doesn't work.
I was gonna say we could just do both.
Okay, go for it.
All right. I would like to go over to the opening and
You have to say gaping hole.
gape
That's what it is.
the gaping hole.
Yep.
Less gaping now. Link kind of filled it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like halfway.
Got myself on that. Shut up, Grim.
I'd like to move over to the hole and cast create water and then freeze it over what I can to try to cover as much of the exit or the hole as I can.
Roll for me a roll Arcana, and let's see how successful, how much you fill up with this. So let's make it a little bit based on a roll.
Skills. Okay. Oh, please be good. My rolls haven't been so hot lately. That's going to be a 9.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. 10 was what you needed to break, so a 9 is really close. It's what you're able to do. As you open up your water skin and just sort of almost coax it out like a water bender, this big ribbon of water sort of moves, and you just gently guide it into this hole. The water fills up every inch, but is not able to go over the rocks. And so basically what we have here is a rock side and an ice side as you bring it up. What that means is that since it is not an airtight seal, there is a chance for whatever is coming to be able to break through this on its turn. If you would have beaten a 10, your water would have fused in with the rocks and created a literal airtight seal. We're close. Really, really, really close. That will conclude your turn. Up next, Astrella. You are the last one before the creature comes, and you can tell now, everybody can start to feel almost this kind of like doom, 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 doom,
Oh, I don't like that. Okay.
this multi-legged creature making its way through this tunnel. It's close enough now that you can all feel it.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna do this because just in case. Okay. All right. I've never done this before. Bear with me. I am going. So this is a 3rd level spell. This is
Okay.
Glyph of Warding. I would like to put an explosive rune on the outside of this cave. Hold on, I'm reading.
No.
All right. So the trigger is anything touching it or moving past it. So I will stick it on one of the rocks that would have to be moved
Yep.
if this thing came out.
Cool.
And it is, okay, so explosive rune. Okay. When triggered, it erupts with magical energy in a 20-foot radius sphere centered. Okay, each creature must make a dexterity saving throw. The creature takes 5d8, and I'm gonna pick fire damage.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Okay.
So
Five.
you do this. Everybody
Ooh.
watches as from her distance, you watch Astrella enter this meditative state, and her fingers just start to make these shapes. And when she's finished, there's a rune in front of her, and she casts it forward, and you watch it attach itself onto one of the rocks, embedding into it, branding it for a second, and you can see that just pulsates and glows with this power. The glyph is ready, the trap is set. Astrella, do you warn your party?
Yes.
Because this is
Oh.
gonna-
I didn't think about that. Yeah, I'm gonna tell everyone to back the fuck up.
Okay, so everybody, you have a choice. You can kill the one remaining spider that is left and see what happens as this thing bursts through. Or, again, this is me being nice as a DM, helping you out with strategies.
Run like hell.
Or you can run like hell. If you're curious about where you can run, Nim, you can see being the furthest forward, you can see that there is a doorway just on the other side of the body of this creature, this big mama that's there. And you can see all these ruins and rocks and kind of everything, this foliage and mushrooms growing around it. But there is a door, and there is a chance that you will be able to get through that door. Kirin, from your vantage point, you can see that this cave goes straight down, but hits a wall. And this is a wall made of rock, but you can also see a literal wall, stone piled on top of each other as if something was built down here on purpose. But you can't see the door from your vantage point. I will give a free action to just talk at the table as characters. You can take a couple of seconds and you can talk it out.
So she's warned us about the glyph, right?
Yep.
So-
Yep.
Is our action based off of our physical movement in combat? Like
This-
30.
You can talk right now. This is just a talking moment. I'm just
Okay, but like whenever we actually do move, are we restricted to like where we're gonna be in a combat state? Or are we able to like actually flee and make a choice
For disengaging.
out of disengaging combat?
yeah. If you disengage from
Okay.
the fight, you'll be able to. You can haul ass.
Okay.
Okay. Guys, I found a door. We just have to get over this creepy thing.
The carcass.
Ew.
I'm gonna. Well, are we able to move, or we're just talking about it, right?
We're just
Yeah.
talking.
It seems like our best option. It's just a wall. It just showcases that there's like something on the other side, right? If there's nothing there that.
Yeah, you know it's a man-made structure. So hearing Nim say that there's a door, now it's confirmed. It's a man-made structure.
Cool. And if there's something growing over there.
All of you can hear again. These footsteps are getting louder. And now
Oh, I say we go with the
vibration.
door.
Little bits of
Yeah.
small rock are starting to rain down on you as this thing is getting closer. You have about 10 seconds before it hits.
Get out, get out, get out.
Estrella's
get out,
trap.
Get out, get out, get out.
Oh,
Everybody
Lord,
go.
let's go for the door. Let's go for Nim's door.
Let's go.
I'll disengage. I'm going to try to get my staff out. though.
All right, so go ahead and give me a strength
So
check
I
on
would-
pulling out that staff.
Like to let everybody pass me, but if
No, they can. They can easily get around
Okay,
and
okay.
past you. And so the first one who is hearing this is Link, and he's
she's
like,
Bob it.
"Eh," and then he's kind of, you see him kind of run past you, and he pauses for a second to look at you and kind of, he gives you
I
a nod.
got this. Go.
He nods again, and you see him run past. Who's coming up next?
I'll go.
All right, so Astrella, you are moving forward. You get past Nim, kind of tiptoe your way around this creature, and move over to be behind Link. Link is starting to work on the door, and you notice, Astrella, that the door isn't opening. There is something maybe blocking the other side, but Link is just sort of smashing his body against it, and you see it kind of budge just a little bit here and there.
Okay.
Do you want to help him?
Yeah, I'm gonna help him. I'm not super strong, but I'll.
Just
All right,
gonna lean into it.
roll strength for me. Give me a strength check.
I rolled, but I would like everybody to get past me first.
Okay, so you want to be the last in? Cool.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Yassin and Kirin. What are you two doing?
I guess. I think Yassin's trying to help barge the door down.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and run past. I want you to go ahead and give me a strength check as well.
My strength was 15.
Hey.
15, all right. And what's your strength check?
It's no, go back. Oh, just kidding. It's on your first page. There you go. +4.
It's not that one.
No,
Oh, it's
no.
plus 4. Okay. It is 12.
12. All right. Hey, Astrella, she is just
She's
just the
She's
coming
panicking.
out of her.
This is
Burdick,
your fucking adrenaline.
you watch her and Link hit the door, and you watch Link stumble a little bit because Astrella hit that thing harder, and it cracked open more. And Link turns at you, and he just grins, and then he looks at Yassin, and the three of you prep and hit it. And now with Yassin's combined strength, the door opens inward. And you can see that on the inside, there is just a bit of rubble, some rocks, some wood planks and things that were pressed against this door, but there's nothing hindering you from running in at this point.
Perfect.
Let's roll.
All right, so the three of you make it inside of this space. Kirin, what's up?
Kirin wants the spider's eyes, the big mama's eyes. So he's been running over there trying to saw them off. Because the center of the eyes makes a fantastic jewel.
Ooh,
That's a little gross.
All right,
That's like-
so
I want a pair of dice like that now. I'm just saying, like, I want some spider eyes dice,
Kirin, roll sleight of hand.
All right.
Let's see what you can get with these
Oh, yeah.
eyes. What is
Oh my god, yes. All right.
What'd you get?
I got an nat 20.
Damn. All right.
With sleight of hand, that's 23.
All right, so the two of you just in this moment, because Nim's watching everybody leave, she's got her hand on it, and Yassin barrels past. Kirin comes up right on his heels around the corner, and you just watch Kirin just expertly take his sword and go. He's like a Ninja Turtle slicing pizza, and you see these eyes just kind of pop, pop, pop off as he flicks them into the air, opens his satchel, catches them, kind of like
Oh my god.
So
it down. And as he's running past, you just kind of kick with your foot, push on the other side with your staff. The sucker flips a couple of times around your wrist. You catch it and deftly sheath it next to your other two weapons, and you are on Kirin's heels. The two of you making it through. Kirin, you have 3 large eyes from this big mama, this big spider queen. Literally, it's her 2 main front eyes and just a slightly smaller one that was behind the others. You were able to get that in time. You all make it in. Nim being the last one, you hear this creature. Boom, 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 boom,
Do I
boom.
see it before I
No, you can't see it because it's been sealed in.
Oh, okay.
But then you hear one last boom, and there's a pause, and then boom, as this thing hits Astrella's trap. What happens from this is that all of the cave-in that Link was trying to cause, there is a crack, a fissure that ran up the side of the wall, and this explosion just rips it open. The last spider who watched all of you leave is caught by debris and rubble and rock and is squished dead.
Right.
You don't know what happened to the creature, but if any of you had turned and looked out the door, you would see a massive cave-in. There is no longer a path the way you came. It is sealed. It is done. There is no way that this creature could get to you unless it finds another way. It is sealed off, and you almost hear it scream in rage, this roar that shakes you to your core, and you feel as if your bones are rattling, and you're not sure if it's in pain or in anger, but it's probably a little bit of both.
At this point, I don't care.
And then you can hear its footsteps fade off into the distance. It's not dead.
It's alive.
It could be hurt.
Oh my
But
god.
the
You know how
creature
tunnels
has,
work. There's openings everywhere.
the creature has no way to get to you at this time for sure. Now, as the 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep, because there's
Shut up.
as the 5 of you enter this space, there's only one point of interest that all of you notice, and it's this mirror that is literally suspended in the air. So I know I got it on the ground here because I don't have suspended, but what you see is this: a mirror suspended in the air, rotating back and forth.
Hmm.
And as you all gather closer to it, on the other side, you can clearly see Grim in the reflection. She's not there with you, but is on the other side of the mirror. And that is where we will cut to Grim's story.
Oh,
But how worse.
Face.
It's so much worse.
Are
But
you
is it
ready, Melissa? Are you ready? I know you've been sitting out, but we invite you back to the table now.
That's okay. I was chatting with Dawson on the chat.
We invite you back to tell us your story about your walk with Ganon.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, you. Let's go back in time. About a day, you had touched the Triforce of Power. You were branded by it. You sensed the call of Ganon, one of the soul bearers of the Triforce of Power, someone who had stolen it for his own uses. And he has reached out to you. You felt this seductive touch. But what you have felt more than anything is the power that Ganon is promising. It's almost as if he's telling you, what I have will be yours. Just give yourself to me, and we can walk together, and I will show you the source of this power. Now, Grim, you have agreed to this, but is it a full willing agreement, or is there some fight in you?
There's not full agreement because I'm me.
Excellent.
So never fully. But enough, I guess.
Okay.
Because I am interested. But I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do whatever.
Good. What you see, if you were to look in your mind's eye, is this green-skinned, red-haired, gold and black armor-clad Gerudo, which to you is like a tall man. Gerudo is his species. He's tall, maybe about 6'9" to 7 feet tall, somewhere in that range. Enough that you have to look up to him, which you haven't done in quite some time. You find most creatures to be smaller than you, but not him. He's imposing. And he's wide, powerfully built. You can see it underneath the armor, that the armor isn't what's bulking up his frame. The armor is light, thin, almost ceremonial. The power comes from him, and you feel it radiate off of him in waves that, if you could just grab it and control it, you know that there are so many things that you could do beyond what you do now through Alexander. You feel him sort of put his hand on your shoulder, and he says, "Let's go for a walk. We'll show you the source of my power. Are you ready, Grim?"
After you.
You don't trust me yet, do you?
No.
That's okay. That is wise, and I appreciate that. I don't trust you either. Why would I? I don't even know you. Let us walk together then, side by side. And he offers his arm to you so that you can interlace it and stand side by side and walk with him.
Which arm?
It'll be his left arm.
Okay.
So you're right.
So you're right. Which would be your middle one, right?
That's why I was wondering.
Yeah, that's okay. You can have that one. So you interlace yours with him, and you kind of feel him just tighten up a little bit as any gentleman would. You don't sense anything malicious from him. You watch him spread his hand in front and sort of like he's moving a curtain aside. And when he does, you literally see all of these clouds and this white energy sort of part. And you see a land very similar to what you already saw on the boat with Hyrule, but it's new, fresh, young. The castle gleams in the bright morning sunlight. Flags of blue and crimson and purple wave in the wind. The castle walls are clean, a bright, almost white marble as they reach up towards the sky. You see people milling about their way, none of them taking notice of you as you walk over the bridge and into the main hall, the central area of this castle. You pass through walls and doors, and he looks at you and he sees your reaction. What is your reaction to all of this?
I guess just curiosity.
And he sees that curiosity and also this sort of calm acceptance about you, as if this doesn't faze you. And he expected that it would, at least make you a little bit awe-inspiring of his power. You hear him grunt and go, I take it you have seen much in your life, have you not, Grim?
I'm trying to remember something. Sorry.
No,
I was just thinking of like what she would have seen in the past and stuff.
make it up on the spot. Just make it up. It'll be a part of your past.
Okay. Give me a minute. I'm so bad at it. I'm just gonna be like more than you know, I guess.
I suspected as much. I could sense your power. Great. Ancient, even. You pull from another. A warlock. Yes. Yes, I feel it now. You have a patron. An ancient creature. Such power you draw from him. I suspect even he doesn't know how much you've taken by this point. Interesting. Very interesting. But I guarantee you, in all your travels, you've never seen something like this. And as he says that, you've passed through one final wall, and you are now where you perceive to be the center of the castle. As you look up, there is a tower that raises above you, the central rampart, if you will, and light cascading from all of these windows and mirrors, all positioned to bring this beam of sun straight down to the Triforce. You see all three triangles hovering above this pedestal, carved with inscriptions from ancient Hyrule. The Triforce is a golden jeweled item, each jewel a little bit bigger than your hand, and all three connected and slowly rotating above this pedestal. And you hear Ganon say, "This is the Triforce how I found it eons ago. I reached out and touched it much as you did. And I found myself branded by power, forever entwined in the destiny of this particular relic. You see, Grim, you only have to reach out and touch it. Will you?"
What exactly would happen if I did touch it?
A great many things. but it's different for each bearer of the Triforce. For me, I was granted a power that no mortal creature could handle. It stripped me of my body and turned me into a spirit of calamity. Such force that I brought upon the land, like nature itself. It took me hundreds of years to figure out how to bring that power back into what you see before you now. A shadow of the body I once held. It could be similar for you, but perhaps you were stronger than I was then. Maybe you can harness it in a way I never could.
Do you answer to anyone?
Child, if you knew me better, you would not ask such silly questions, but to humor you, I answer only to myself. The Triforce binds me to history, yes, but it does not tell me what I do in each age. It only ensures that I will never die.
You can't die.
No.
So if I took out a weapon and stabbed you right now, you'd be A-okay.
I feel pain. I bleed. And in a way, I do pass on. But I always return. So I suppose I can die, but I don't
So it's like reincarnation. Okay.
Yes. Yes. This word rings true. I and the other bearers of the Triforce, the one for courage and wisdom. We all seem to come back each and every age, fighting our battle anew. It is tiresome. I need another vessel. I need your strength to end this cycle. Will you lend it, Grim? Will you touch the Triforce?
Okay, so I'm not gonna answer him.
Okay.
I'm just going to put on my armors, both of them,
Okay.
Shadow armor.
and I'm gonna touch it with my metal arm hand.
You gonna touch it. You hear Ganon chuckle a little bit as he watches you pull the shadows to you, and they form this sleek, form-fitting armor. And you are covered as he is, and he applauds, nods at you, kind of gives you this slow clap, and motions for you to reach out and touch the Triforce. And so you do. With your metal hand, you reach out and you place your fingers upon its cold gem surface. There's a small bit of electricity, static, that causes all of your hairs to stand on end as it travels up your arm, over your shoulder, around your chest. It fills every part of your body. Every bit of your skin tingles. This isn't an electric pain. This is power. This is what you feel when you summon the eldritch energies to cast your magic.
It's my crack, I got it.
Only you feel that you are just barely scratching the surface. You can feel the gem call to you, and you hear it whisper in your mind, "Embrace me. Hold me."
Okay, what if I use my crystal in my arm to kind of try to grab it with Arcana?
you feel it resist any kind of a magical touch or pull. What it seeks is to make contact with your flesh. And you can get that. There's something in the metal arm that is preventing the full power of the Triforce from entering you.
Can I do an Arcana check?
Absolutely.
Where's my fucking Arcana? Sorry, I'm using something.
Yep.
Ah. Come on. 13.
Okay, here's what happens. As you ground yourself, that step that you take, and your Arcana energy is rippling out from you, like Toph uses her ability to sense vibrations.
Oh.
You sense Ganon, and you feel his energy. He hides nothing from you. He is powerful. He is ancient. And he glows with a color you've never seen from a creature before. It's almost blinding, and it flashes between silver and gold. You know from your time with auras that this is almost godlike energy, but on a scale that not even Alexander looks like to you. But when you look to the Triforce, it is a void. You can't see a thing about it. It's almost as if it's put up a barrier, and everything surrounding it is black. The pedestal, the 3 triangle gems, even some of the light as it comes up the column, it's just this black void that exists there. And you see Ganon step forward till he's right next to you again. And you have to shield yourself from him for a moment as you turn off these senses to the Arcana. Ganon knows what you were doing. He could feel it. He looks at you. Rim, these are ancient beyond measure, a power that you cannot hope to understand, only experience.
What's around me?
Around you now is what was there before. This chamber that's circular, maybe 20 feet in diameter, filled with carvings and murals and tapestries of what you suspect would be the history of Hyrule. You see the same thing that the party saw in the caves, this image of Hylia reaching up, and above her, caught in the golden rays of the sun painted on the wall, is the Triforce. And you know that it is the central item for this people. It is everything to them. And yet the desire to touch it increases. I want you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Pray for it.
Knock. Wisdom?
Yep, wisdom saving.
17.
Nice. I said it at 15. I thought that was pretty high. Well done. You are able to resist the call of the Triforce just barely. Your left hand reaches out to touch it, and you sort of catch yourself, and it shakes in front of you, and you slowly put it down. And you hear Ganon whisper next to your ear. You feel his hot breath against your face. Stop resisting. If you want power, this is the way. Join with it, with me. Just touch the Triforce. And then you hear the Triforce go, embrace me, hold me, merge with me. You have a choice now. You can either touch the Triforce with flesh and see what happens when you give this action is giving yourself to it. It's not a test. No more testing the waters. You give yourself to the Triforce in this moment, or you break Ganon's hold on you. These are your only options.
But I have it in my metal.
You have just touched it. You have not pulled it away yet. And so as Ganon's been whispering, as you've done your Arcana check, your right hand is sort of moved away. But your left hand, you feel it fighting, trying to make contact as this thing literally pulls on you. It's trying to override your will. You can feel that. You're keeping it at bay.
So can you tell me, if not, that's fine. Will it be like a power of wills if I touch it?
Something's gonna happen.
It's so tempting. I just want to grab it. It's so people that aren't with me, what do you think?
I will allow some table talk. You can table talk it if you want.
Do it.
To be honest, this is your decision.
I heard to do it.
I'm going to totally instigate this. Do it.
No. Come back to us.
I don't know. I feel like Grim's been too nice and too good. I think she needs something.
She needs some spice.
She needs some power.
She needs some more something for her tragic backstory.
Can never have enough trauma.
You can.
Emily's like, yes, you can. Okay, I think I'm going to touch it.
I don't need to think. I need.
I'm going to reach out with my left hand.
Do it.
That's the real one.
That's the real
That's the real one.
That's the fleshy hand.
And I'm going to, I'm assuming it's on top because it's power. I don't know. Where is it? In the Triforce.
Whichever one you touch, it'll be power.
Okay. I'm gonna reach for it, and then just grab it and pull it to my chest if I can.
As you do, you hear Ganon sigh relief. And you hear this small whisper in your head going, well done. You've done what I did. Now, behold your fate. And you feel his presence slowly pull away from you as you bring the Triforce closer. He's not gone, but his presence isn't overbearing. The Triforce itself, this one triangle of power, feels cold in your left hand, pure and gem-like. You look at the other two and you see them start to vibrate. And you watch one vanish. You watch the second shake, vanish, as if being pulled, separated as they have been by your touch. You feel this coldness travel up your arm, into your shoulder. And instead of the electricity of power, you feel this cold, dark hand reach for your heart as this chill moves towards your chest. Your hand is gripped on the Triforce. You try to open your fingers, but they won't budge. And suddenly you feel an energy that you can't control. It is too much, and this coldness starts to burn as if a frostbite. But you watch the skin on your left hand start to peel and crack and pull away from your flesh, and still it gets closer to your heart. I want you to make a religious roll. Roll religion for me.
Religion sake.
Come on.
How you now, Grim?
Oh,
14.
14. Okay. Here's what happens. As you feel it cover part of your heart, it's almost like fingers just crawling over it, coldening, deadening your body. The pulling of the skin moves up towards your elbow. It's almost so cold you can't feel the pain of it. You are just shocked to see muscle and tissue and even bone start to appear. And as it starts to encase your heart, you feel from your right side another hand come in. And as you turn and look, you see Alexander. And he has this look of sheer anger and just a touch of pride as he reaches into your chest and moves to meet this other force. Literally, it's like a shadow passing into your body. And as this shadow reaches, you see it move up his arm into his face. And you see half of his true form, this dark, demonic, powerful creature just pull at one side of his face into this big shadowed horn and this glorious eye that shines. You see the hand that's in you form into a long, elongated form of what it normally is. These fingers, you feel it in your heart as the two touch each other. And you feel this war of wills back and forth as the Triforce tries to claim you as its new host. And Alexander is like, fuck you, Will. And then he looks at you. And through his one eye that is still human and still emotes, you see a level of caring you've never seen cross his face. Something that actually frightens you because he's not angry.
Mm-hmm.
He's sad, maybe even disappointed a little. And you hear him whisper, "This is the only way, Grim. This will hurt.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know when you'll see me again. But I promise, if there was another way, I wouldn't do this. I'm sorry, Grim. You really should have consulted on this. I'm just saying." Oh, bitch. And he reaches with his other hand, and you see his whole body engulfed into his full demonic form. Horns huge, body large and elongated, and you feel a part of your body, the part of your soul connected to your patron, ripped from you. And you see yourself being pulled into a shadow form and your true essence. And he throws his body back. And as he does, you see him step into your place and get overwhelmed by the power of the Triforce. And you hear him scream in agony for just a moment before the entire world goes black.
you done effed up, Ron. I'm just teasing.
When you open your eyes, Grim, you are nowhere where you started. 24 hours has passed. And you have some idea of this because you're a little hungry. You feel your body a bit weakened from the battle that you endured aboard the ship. And nothing's been done to heal or repair what that damage was. But you also feel weakened because that spot in your mind, in your soul, in your heart, where you felt Alexander, where you felt his calm strength, this demonic surge of power that you could call upon to augment your own, that has gone silent. You cannot sense his presence. You cannot hear his voice. And when you call out to him, all you sense is the same void that was there at the Triforce. When you look around you, you are surrounded by treasure, riches. There are shelves and chests and barrels all strewn around the room. And you feel as if you're in some sort of an undercroft. You can see cobblestoned walls and a floor, all man-made. It's dirty, but you can see a bit of the marble that was there that has been rubbed over time with dirt and soot and decay. You can tell that this is a part of Castle Hyrule, and that you are somewhere deep down in the undercroft of it. And in front of you is a mirror, rotating back and forth. On the other side, you see your friends and the blonde-haired cabin boy who was with Persian when you would talk to him, now brandishing a sword and a shield and looking every bit as much the warrior as the rest of the party. They look hurt and dirty, but they're there. You are all together in this room, separated by a magic floating mirror, where on one side is Grim and the flute of 1,000 words, and on the other side is an empty room and the rest of the party. What do you do?
I'm gonna touch. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna make an Arcana check on the mirror.
Okay, give me an arcana. No.
Nim walks down the other hallway.
As long as it's the left
Well,
one.
if you go down somewhere else,
I'm gonna put a child backpack with a leash on Nim first. Next to me.
No. She can run up walls. She don't need that.
15.
15. So when you reach out, how are you doing it? Are you touching the mirror? Are you simply extending your senses? How are you planning to teach what it is?
I'll touch the side of the mirror. I'll just touch the side. I'm not gonna like full hand through the mirror, but I'll touch the side of the mirror.
Okay.
The mirror breaks.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. Okay.
am I connected by the leash? Do I get like tucked in with you?
you have a 10-foot radius.
Wisdom saving throw. Okay. Oh, okay, that's good. 18.
Okay, that's good. I'm like, you don't know what's good. You don't know. You okay.
Chris, was that good?
It's better than it could be.
Oh. Ooh, I don't.
I won't tell you the AC to beat on this mirror, but I will tell you that you didn't break it at an 18. That's a high.
Dang.
Okay.
When you reach out and touch the mirror, you can feel a cold energy shoot up your arm. And you take 5 points of damage from this. 5 points of damage. This is actual hurting energy, but you hold on to the mirror long enough to get a sense of it. And as you pull away, your fingers are literally frozen.
Ooh.
And you have to work them and kind of crack and rub them together and get them to warm back up. And there's some black markings on it, some frostbite, which has caused that 5 points of damage on your fingers. What you know, though, is that having touched this, you can immediately sense that this is a planar portal, as in a portal that can transport you literally to another plane of existence. This is some sort of a doorway. You don't know exactly what plane it goes to or anything about it, but that's what you sense. And that's what you can tell. It's a gateway.
All right.
Chris.
All right. Don't touch it, guys. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
The question, does she have any arcana left?
Oh yeah. You haven't lost anything from your power.
My
set.
natural?
Yeah. You have
Okay.
everything that you ever did. What you have lost is you can no longer call upon Alexander for help
Okay.
for now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else in the room aside from just the
Yeah.
mirror?
There is a pile of rubble on the far side of the door, so literally opposite you, about, I mean, I can tell you exactly how far it is because of how many squares we got here. If you go from the door, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, about 70 feet. So this space is about 70 feet long from door to the big pile of rubble you see opposite it, and about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 feet wide at its widest point. As it goes down toward the rubble, you see it sort of cave in a little bit and lessen the width. But what you can see is that rubble almost leads up to an opening up top, as if a previous cave-in had caused a hole to open up and almost a path of rubble to get up to it. So you're not trapped. There is certainly a way out on the other side, but each person would have to go one at a time. It's definitely a hole big enough for just one person to shimmy their way through. From this distance, it's about all you can really tell about what's going on. The rest of the room is completely barren. There is nothing in it. No torches, no
No kind of markings or anything?
There are 0 markings in this room on your side.
I'm gonna walk around to the opposite side of the mirror
Sure.
and look at it.
As you move to the other side, so I kind of put you over here-ish with everybody else still sort of by the door a little bit, maybe spread out a little somewhat, you know, here, Link kind of just, you know.
I am like standing right in front of the mirror, just like, I wanna,
Mhm.
I touch it.
Yep, you can be right in front of it there if you want. Astrella kind of did her Arcana check on this side and touched the side of it. So as the mirror kind of rotates, you notice that it's the same image on both sides. The only time you can't see anything is when it's kind of directly like thin lined at you. And then it moves in and you can see Grim in the other direction. Are you looking in her realm? Want to see what you can see in there?
I
Yeah.
actually wanna kind of, I guess, pray,
Mhm.
see if I can sense where he went.
Alexander, sure. You can
If
do
I
that.
can even feel him anywhere.
Kirin's very environmentally focused, by the way. So
Yeah, so go ahead and roll religion for me. And Dawson, roll perception. Mirror action. Haha. Ooh.
Religion, you say?
Yes.
21.
21. Nice. And Dawson, your perception?
15 plus 4, 19.
All right. So here's what you see, Dawson. One, you see kind of Grim sort of center herself. She doesn't kneel to pray or anything. She just sort of brings her head low. You watch her hands kind of center over her belly and grip. And you just kind of see her sort of almost slowly mouthing some sort of a ritual incantation. She's trying to call her patron.
No, it's more like, Alexander, where the fuck you go?
That's the incantation.
No, the incantations be going like this.
And
And then I go,
that's exactly how you've always called him for your entire relationship together. He's always responded. He doesn't respond. You can't feel anything, but you rolled a 21. This is a very high roll. And so you don't take no for an answer. You will yourself to move into the astral plane, to tether yourself to your body for just a few seconds. And you yell at the top of your lungs,
son of a bitch! Where are you?
and that reverberates with all the power you can muster throughout this astral plane, and you get a response back, very faint, distant. It's the scream that you heard when he touched the Triforce. You hear that reverberating through the astral plane, and for just a minute, you get this white hot sensation of the pain that he is under, and then you almost see him. And right as he's kind of coming into focus, he turns to you, and this is a form you've never seen from him before. He's shown you his shadow demon because it's cool and a little sexy. What you see now is grotesque, where his skin is peeling off. His mouth is burning with white hot fire. There are cuts and bones and jagged. He's starting to look almost like the creature that hunted you inside of the dreamscape when you were in Faerune. He is death itself, and he is in pain, and you watch him lift a claw and shoot it into the sky, and this barrier comes between the two of you, and you feel yourself being thrown back into your body. You know that whatever Alexander is going through, he's actually protecting you from it and closing that link between the two. Dawson, with your perception roll, you can see all of the treasure, the chests, everything around the room as this mirror kind of rotates. You get a clearer picture of the sides and kind of rotates back around, and you see the other side. It is filled with a lot of goodies. There's a lot of loot in there to be had.
For a jewel crafter.
The treasure alone within these piles of gold that you see on the ground, you can see weapons and jewels and trinkets and goblets and things that to your eyes seem they could even be magical.
I'm gonna start throwing shit in the room, by the way.
What's that?
I'm gonna start throwing the shit in the room because I'm pissed.
Do our Triforces, me and Astrella's Triforce pieces, have any kind of reaction to what's going on?
As the two of you move closer to Grim, who's standing by this, in front of this mirror, all three of you notice that there is a light glow that emanates from your Triforces just based upon proximity. Finally, finding the third piece of the Triforce, there is definitely a reaction. In fact, if you were to look at the gem that you had fashioned, Kirin, it glows so bright red that it's hard to look at it. There is a lot of power emanating from Grim right now that it can sense through the planar portal. That's the interesting part that you notice. Hearing Astrella say this was a planar portal, this magical artifact is still connected to that part of the Triforce.
How what? Say the last part.
It's still connected to the Triforce. So his gem, despite the fact that you're in, another plane of existence, it's still leading to you.
So wait,
I'm pretty good at jewel crafting.
the jewel is coming to me?
No, the jewel is in Kirin's possession. It's just like a divining rod or a compass that kind of leads to you. It glows brighter the closer it gets to you, to the source of that energy. The interesting thing is that since you're in another plane, you are literally cut off. You're in a completely different realm from everybody else. And yet the gem still knows exactly where you are. It's not cut off from you. That's the interesting thing.
Can we hear anything from the other side?
Through our gems,
Try.
our
Mhm.
stones? Can I try?
You can
Well,
try.
actually, I'm still throwing shit and yelling.
Oh, we'll get to the, if you're still throwing shit, you really
Okay,
want
can
to
I take my gem and like try to Grim?
hang on. Well, yep. So
I have a stone. Yeah, a stone.
yeah,
part.
3 things happen. One, you can hear Grim yelling and cursing
okay,
and all
I
that kind
can.
of stuff as you're sitting there going Grim, and then you hear yourself bounce back through her stone of far
Oh,
speech.
well, don't need that.
So
Grim.
As Grim hears your voice, she is like chucking a barrel over.
Donkey Kong in this bitch.
As it rolls, the barrel does something interesting.
Oh fuck.
It's not a barrel. It's a mimic.
Oh, no.
What's
So
a mimic?
A mimic, think of a mimic like a bogart. It is a creature that can hide as another shape, another thing. And so that barrel was not an actual barrel, but a mimic, a creature that mimics the barrel as a way to hunt
I know you
its
have
prey.
one. I'll just show her.
So it starts to open its mouth. The barrel pulls back and reveals teeth in this slobbery tongue that comes out. Bursting from the sides of the barrel are these tentacles that reach around and start to flap, 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 flap around. And it rights itself and looks at you and just sort of.
Okay.
Kirin, you see this happen. Nim, you see this happen because the two of you are looking directly into the mirror as it does. You also notice that every other barrel, chest, and gold starts to awaken. This room is filled with mimics, and Grim is alone against a horde of creatures that would love nothing more than to devour her.
Thermaturgy black.
Kirin is going to like look down at his wrist at his Triforce and sprint towards the mirror and dive in.
Oh.
Yes,
Why
yes.
don't I just try to go that way? Why?
I'm guessing it's a one-way mirror.
Estrella, Grim, the two other bearers of the Triforce, you, as Kirin starts to run, and it's almost happening in slow motion, you feel your hands start to almost burn a little bit as he gets closer, and you almost feel this compelling to reach out towards him. Do you do it?
I don't know. I got burned last time.
Yes.
Okay, so Estrella, your hand kind of reaches forward again, Kirin running in slow motion, and you're watching this happen. Two of you reaching out together. Grim, the sensation is so incredibly powerful. You feel the need to reach out your hand and join the Triforce together. Do you
Fist
reach?
bump.
Yeah, I was gonna say fist bump. I mean, if I can, like as close as I can get to
Yep.
them, I'll reach out.
You can. And as
Okay.
the three of you sort of come together through the reflections in the mirror, your hands touch. And for a second, the three of you form the shape of the Triforce.
That's cool.
And as that shape coalesces, the mirror shatters.